Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to class today. Today's class is going to focus on extension, particularly of the spine. So we're going to work through some exercises that are going to build us up to some spinal extension exercises. So we're going to warm up and we're going to start with some mobility work for the spine. And we're going to start sitting. So I'd like you to find a position for your legs that is comfortable, so you can cross at the shins or you can come into a diamond position like I am. So feet together, knees wide, and the feet are quite far away from the pelvis, and that's just going to allow the legs to relax and the hips to relax. And then if we bring our hands to the front of our pelvis, what we want to check is that our two pelvic bones and our pubic bone are level with each other. So our pelvis is in neutral. And then this allows the rest of the spine to stack on top of the pelvis. So we want the rib cage over the pelvis, the head on top of the shoulders, and that feeling of reaching the crown of the head up as the tailbone reaches down into the ground. And then just finding our breathing. So inhaling and exhaling, feeling the expansion in the ribs and feeling the narrowing of the rib cage. And we're just going to use this breath to find our deep abdominal muscles. So on your next out breath, gently draw the navel in towards the spine and feel the pelvic floor lift. Then continue to breathe into the sides and into the back of the rib cage. Really feel that expansion on the in breath and the narrowing on your out breath. Now on your next out breath, I like to start to tip your pelvis backwards. We're going to round the spine. And we're going to imagine the back ribs reach into the wall behind you. Your chin's going to tuck and you're going to look down towards your pelvis. On your in breath, we're going to start to restack the spine. So start to tip the pelvis forwards. Bring it to neutral. Stack your spine and then very gently use your hands on your legs to lift your chest into some gentle extension. Shoulder blades drop down, chin stays in, and we'll go again. So taking a breath and then exhale, round the spine, feel the abdominals draw in and back, the pelvic floor lifts, and then inhale, restack the spine, think of lifting the chest bone straight up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to do this 2 more times, so in your own time, really feeling that we're opening the backbones of the body, stretching the muscles of the back, and then as we lift, we're starting to feel that engagement of the back muscles, starting to feel how we open the chest, open the abdominal area. And this is our last one. So mobilising the spine is going to affect how we move and how we come into this extension. Now let's come back to a neutral spine and take your arms up to the sides. And we're going to leave the right hand on the ground, lift the left arm up. Take a side bend, so reach the left arm overhead, let the right elbow bend. And I want you to think of dropping your left hip further down into the floor. Now holding here, we're going to turn the chest to face your thigh and reach diagonally forwards while dropping your hip further down into the ground. Come back into your side bend, so turning the chest, spiraling the ribcage up, and then restack the spine and place the left hand down. So we're going to inhale, exhale, side bend, inhale to twist, exhale, untwist if that's a word, and then come all the way back up. Now as you do this, we're going to do it 1 more time each side. Really try and focus on deepening the opposite hip to the way that we're leaning down into the ground. The deeper the pelvis feels that it's pushing into the floor, the more stretch we're going to get. And as we stretch the muscles of the spine and around the torso, this is going to facilitate our extension. Now as we come back in, we're now going to make our way down to the floor. So bring your feet to the bottom of your mat, hands to the back of your thighs, and then gently roll your spine back to bring us all the way to the floor. And then just taking a moment to align our bodies, bring the feet a comfortable distance from your sitting bones, and we want to line the heels roughly with those two sitting bones. And then make sure that the knees are the same width as the feet roughly. And then if we bring our hands to our pelvis again, and we want to check that our pelvic triangle is level. So the pubic bone and the two pelvic bones are level, and that triangle that they create is level with the floor and with the ceiling. And checking that the neck is long, so chin slightly towards the chest. Back of the neck stretches, we feel a gentle stretch, and then make sure that you're able to bring the back ribs down into the floor. If that's not achievable, that would be a reason to prop something underneath your head. And having the head higher is going to make it more achievable for your ribs to come down. So we should feel now that the pelvis is level, the sacrum is heavy, the lower back is light, and it may be lifted off the ground slightly. The rib cage, the head is also heavy, but the neck is not on the ground. Okay, so we've identified which parts of our body want to be on the floor in neutral and the parts that want to be the lightest. And we're going to keep this alignment and bring your arms to the side of your mat. Turn your palms to face in so your thumbs are facing up towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders down into the mat, and on your next in-breath, lift your arms up. Exhale, reach them overhead, and as you reach them overhead, deepen your back ribs down into the mat. Inhale, lift them up, and then exhale, lower back down. We're just going to do this a couple more times. So inhale to lift, exhale to reach. Now just mobilising through the shoulders, because this is going to help us with some of our extension exercise a little later. So just bring in some blood flow, and the main thing here is that we're keeping those heavy points of contact with the ground. As if we allow the arms to facilitate the movement, the rib cage will want to lift, the spine will want to arch. So we're just going to do one more, and this time when the arms go overhead, we're going to interlace the hands and rest the hands behind the skull. Elbows lifted off the ground, and you want to be able to see them in your peripheral vision. Imagine them reaching up to the ceiling, and notice how your shoulder blades widen away from your spine on your upper back. Chin tucks in slightly, breathe in, and then as you breathe out, lift the chest up. Slide the front bottom ribs down, and then inhale, lengthen the spine back to the mat. So we're mobilising the spine again while activating the abdominal muscles, because activating the core is going to be really important to protect and stabilise through the spine and the area, especially the lower back, the areas that we need to be focusing on stabilising as we come into extension later on. So all these exercises are preparing us. So as we're lifting, I want you to check that your pelvis is still in neutral, so the two pelvic bones and your pubic bone stay level, and that triangle that they create staying level to the ceiling. So we're not allowing the pelvis to tip backwards. So I think of trying to glue my tailbone into the floor. Head stays heavy in the hands as if it's a hammock, and we want to check that the space between the chin and the chest remains the same as we lift up. So we're just going to do 3 more. Exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower. Keeping the shoulder blades wide, that feeling of sliding them away from the ears. And last one. Now we're going to stay up a moment, and you're going to release your arms to the sides of your body. Lower your upper body down, and we're going to focus on some stability for the pelvis and the spine, using the legs. So hands to the pelvic bones. And on your next out breath, deepen your points of contact with the mat. And lift, lighten that right leg, and then start to lift it. And then lower it back down. And then change sides. So we're starting to do our knee fold, alternating legs. But I want you to feel how, as we move the legs, those points of contact with the floor only deepen, they don't lighten. Navel draws in, and we're making sure that the pelvis isn't rotating side to side, it's not tipping. So the weight of the leg that we're lifting is not affecting the pelvis. So something I like to think about to prevent that, if rotation would be to happen, is to deepen the opposite side of the pelvis down as I lift the leg up. So if it's the right leg I'm lifting, the left hip becomes heavy. If it's the left leg I'm lifting, the right hip becomes heavy. Now the next time you lift your right leg, I'd like you to stay there. Deepen the points of contact with the mat even further to lighten the left leg, and if you can, lift a tabletop. Start to toe tap, so we lower on our exhale, inhale to lift. Now we're going to alternate again, and we're only going to lower the foot as far as you can, keep those points of contact. So if you start to feel your lower back arching, the back ribs lift up, your pelvis is tipping forwards towards your feet, that would be a reason to bring your feet back to the mat and go back to the knee fold rather than the toe taps. Or just do as many as you can, lower your feet and come back into it. Now we're just going to do one more each side. Really warming up the abdominal muscles. And then bring the knees into the chest, giving yourself a stretch at the back of your hips. Now in this position, we're going to curl our head, neck and shoulders up. So chin towards the chest and roll up. We're going to warm up the abs a little bit more with a single leg stretch followed by a double leg stretch. So when you're ready, reaching the left leg out, hands on the right leg. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So I want us to keep it slow and controlled. And I want you to focus on what's happening in this torso, in the center of your body. So can you keep those points of contact? Can you keep effort out of your neck and into the abdominal muscles? So lift up with your abs. One more each side. Stretch long. So get the stretch at the front of the hip with the leg, and then bring both knees in. Double leg stretch now. So we're going to inhale to reach out. Exhale to just pull back in. So no arm circle today. Inhale out. Exhale in. So we're trying to make sure that the arms going back and up aren't affecting our torso. We're not lowering our head and shoulders, but think of lifting them instead. And two more. Inhale to reach, stretch long, and exhale to pull in. Lower the head and shoulders, release the arms and lower your feet back to sit bones distance. Check your neutral alignment. Let's go up into a bridge. So inhale to prepare. Exhale to tip the pelvis backwards. And we're going to roll up through the spine, bone by bone. Getting some opening through the hips because we've just done some flexion, so we want to extend the front of the hips now. Check at the top the pubic bones high, your belly button and the rib cage are lower. And then start to roll down. So back ribs come down, the waist, the lower back, the pelvis, and then the tailbone drops and releases. Let's do 3 more. So I want you to focus on the abdominals. The abdominals are doing the work. We're almost pressing the spine into the floor as the abdominals draw in before we peel the spine up. And we really want to think of moving individually through the vertebrae. So whether we're moving up and down, up or down, whichever phase of the movement you're in, make sure that you're trying to get the vertebrae before the one you're about to bring down on the floor or off the floor before we follow on. So think of your spine like a pearl necklace. You're trying to imagine that the pearls of the necklace are the vertebrae of the spine, and we're really trying to move individually. Which part of the spine is maybe a little bit easier to do this, which is a little bit more tricky. And focus on using the abdominals to help, but also that backwards tilt of the pelvis. So we've got 1 more. Now you can do this next exercise with the back of the pelvis propped up on a ball or a rolled up towel. So you can pause the video and grab that if you need to, but we're going to stay up if we can so we can work the hip extensors. And you're going to make your left leg heavy. Okay, the right leg becomes lighter, and you're going to start to slide the right leg out. And I'm going to bring my hands to my pelvic bones, because what I want you to make sure is that you're extending the leg only as far as you can without allowing your pelvis to change position. Slide that foot in, and as it lands, make it heavy. Send the second leg out, slide it along the floor, keep in contact with the ground. We're going to feel the back of the legs working, but also you might be getting a stretch at the front of the hip. Okay, we're going to do 4 more. So pressing out, sliding the leg away. And I try and send the pelvic bone in the front of the hip crease further up to the ceiling as the leg extends out. We've got 3 more. So I like to exhale as I reach away. And then inhale as I slide in, keeping the pelvis up and the rib cage soft. Last time each side. Which side is more challenging? I definitely know that my right side is the more difficult side to control. And then as you come back in, lower your arms and lower your spine all the way down. Take a moment to just let the knees really relax. Just window wiper side to side. Just keeping the shoulders attached to the mat. And then let's do 1 more each side. Nice to release the hips, nice to release the back. Okay, we're going to make our way around onto our tummies now. So rolling onto your side, adjust yourself on your mat so you can roll all the way around. I'm going to go this way just so that I can see you a little bit better. And we're going to start with some swan. So preparations are important. Arms to the sides of your mat in a W shape. And we're going to bring our forehead down to the mat. Take your legs to hip width. You may want to go wider if it's easier to find your alignment in your pelvis. Especially if you're tight, the narrower you go, the more challenging it's going to be for your pelvis, your spine to stay stable and in alignment. So find the alignment of your legs that you need to be in. Check that your pubic bone and your 2 pelvic bones are on the mat. And I want you to slightly deepen your pubic bone. Then on your next out breath, draw the navel in and up towards your lower back. And it's almost that feeling of your tummy becoming light on the floor and the lower back slightly lifting up towards the ceiling. As the lower back lifts, you'll notice the tailbone reaches back towards the heels. Now just find your thoracic breathing. So breathing in to expand the ribs, exhaling to narrow the ribs. Can you keep the belly light on the mat? On your next in-breath, hover your forehead and then start to peel the chest up. The chest bone goes forwards and up, the shoulder blades slide down. Can you keep that lightness of your belly? Heaviness through your pelvic bone. And then lower your pubic bone, not your pelvic bone. So we're inhaling to lift, and at the moment we're just lifting to the front bottom ribs. This is going to isolate the thoracic spine, the part of the spine that naturally rounds forwards. So it's the most difficult part of the spine to extend. Okay, especially if we spend our days slouching quite a lot. I'm bad at doing that, so I've got to do extra Pilates. So we're just going to do 2 more like this. Can you imagine the rib cage sliding forwards, almost like you're trying to reach your front bottom ribs and slide them forwards along your mat? See if that helps you to lift a little higher. Okay, last one this time. And we're actually going to do 4 more. So you may stay with this, or we may go a little bit higher now. So if you know that your spine has more range, we're going to lift to the front bottom ribs, the thoracic spine, and then we're going to use our arms to continue the extension. Now you just go to where you can. The arms may not be straight, and then we roll back down. So belly starts to come to the floor, bottom ribs, chest, and then forehead. Let's go again. So we inhale, lift, belly lifts, come to the front bottom ribs first, still imagining the rib cage going forwards and up. That means that we're then going to get equal distribution through the whole spine, and we're not just going into the lower back, because we get this feeling of hinging then, and it feels a lot of pressure through the lower back. We sometimes get a feeling of pinching as well. So if you get that in your lower back, reassess how high you're going. Maybe you need to reduce your range. Maybe you need to stay to front bottom ribs. Excellent. This is our last one. And the closer in your arms come towards your shoulders, or your hands come towards your shoulders, the bigger your range may be. So you choose if you want to go a little bit further. And your pelvis may come off the mat, and that's okay as well, as long as your spine feels okay. Now as you lower, just like you to lower to your front bottom ribs. Slide your arms forwards so your fingertips touch and your elbows are wide. So your arms are making a diamond now. And we're going to prop ourselves up a little bit on our arms. Now, I want you to check that you're not allowing everything, the front of your body, to sink down. This is not good. So do it, because it's good to know how it feels to not do it correctly. So this time, push into the floor, draw the shoulder blades down, and lift your chest as if you're reaching it through the gates of your arms. Now check back into your pelvis, pubic bone heavy, belly lifts. Now we're going to do our single leg kick to open up the front of our hips and our thigh. So bend the right knee, squeeze, squeeze, reach and lower. And we're going to stay slow for a moment. So I like to exhale as I squeeze in, inhale as I reach back. Now, as you're moving the leg, we're going slow and controlled. I want you to check that nothing is changing in the rest of your body. So we're not allowing the shoulders to sink. I'm really drawing my shoulder blades down, my back. I'm trying to push into the floor and almost drag my arms back along my mat to allow my chest to go forwards. Pubic bone stays heavy, belly stays light. Let's go a little bit quicker. Kick, kick, switch. Kick, kick, switch. Think of opening the front of your hip creases into the ground. And 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the leg. Elbows go a little bit wider to lower to your front bottom ribs. Slide your arms wide to your W and lower back down. Okay, hands come to the rib cage, and let's push up for a child's pose in the middle. So stretching the arms forwards. Take a rock side to side if that feels good. And let's come all the way back down again, setting into our W position with the arms. Okay, we're going to go to our full range of swan again. So prepare the pelvis, abdominals lift, and on your in-breath we lift up. Now when you get to where you can this time, I'd like you to stay here. Push deep into your hands. Lift the chest high. Now we're going to place your left hand in the centre of your chest. Okay, this is going to allow our pelvis and our chest to stay central. We're going to lift our right arm up and then tap it back down. We're going to do 2 more. Lift, tap. Can you lift your chest higher as the arm lifts? Okay, reset the left hand, lower the chest. Let's do that all on the other side. So we lift the chest up, go to where you can. So your elbows still may be bent. Press down into your left arm to shuffle that right hand to the centre. Inhale, exhale, lift. Keep pulling up with the chest. Can you use your right arm to push you higher? And lift. One more time. Really opening the front of the shoulder, the side of the shoulder, and around the rib cage. Settle the hands, lower the chest. Now this time we're going to lift to front bottom ribs, and I want you to just check your alignment in your pelvis. I want you to feel that you're trying to reach the crown of your head forwards, and then just lower so that your chest bone is on the mat but your head is hovering. Now reach your arms back. Now you either take hold of your hands or interlace the fingertips. We're going to go for our double leg kick now. So as your head is hovered, I want you to turn your head to the camera. Place your right ear, or whichever ear it is, down on the ground. Now we're going to stay here for a moment, so just let the upper body relax. And I want you to see if you can pull your arms up a little bit higher, so we're almost bra strap area rather than lower back. Now draw the belly up, spread the hip creases down into the ground, feel the glutes, knees bend, squeeze, 3, 2, 1. Now send the legs back, they can lift, and as we lift we open the chest, shoulder stretch, chest stretch, turn your head to the back. Bring the arms in, bend the knees. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, inhale, inhale. So it's a 3 count breath. And reach. And exhale. And reach. Pull the shoulder blades down. Make sure the lower back is not compressing. And last one. And reach. Now lower the legs, release the arms, hands by the shoulders, release the chest and push up to a child's pose. We've got one more thing to do here, guys. And we're going to prepare for the swan dive. So come all the way down, arms back to your W. Chin tucks in. We're going to push up to our range. So we lift the chest on our in-breath, push all the way up. On your out-breath, we lower down, tap the front bottom ribs down, lift the legs up. Push into your arms, lift the chest. You're almost still thinking of lifting the legs. And as we go down with the chest is lifting. I'm trying to stay in this bow position. And I'm almost like a little seesaw. Okay, now if we can, we're going to release and catch with our hands. So we release, catch, release, catch, release, catch. Now if we can, our arms shoot forwards and catch. And again. One more. Whoa, that was challenging. And come all the way down. Final child's pose, so press up. Send the hips back and release. Breathe into the back of your body now. And we're just going to roll in and up. Now really make a meal of this because this is going to feel really nice for the spine. And we're going to do that in reverse. So we tuck the chin, roll the spine forwards. Slide the arms along the mat, reach. Inhale and exhale, roll back up again. Feel the abdominals do some work. Let the head come up last. I'm going to finish where we started today. So come down onto your hips, send the legs forwards. And then hands on the legs. Take an out breath. Start to roll back. Breathe in and then send the chest forwards and up. And we're just going to do that one more time. So out breath as we roll back. Really enjoy that stretch. And then lift. And come back to neutral and side bend. So we go up and over and then rotate. Turn back into your side bend and then lift up and over to the other side. So just nice and gentle, just breathing and moving, just releasing through the body. Last one each side. Relaxing your shoulders, just letting your head be heavy. Checking again that your 2 pelvic bones, your 2 sitting bones actually, are heavy on the mat. And we are done for today. So thank you very much for joining me for an extension class. I hope that helped. And if you have any questions or requests, please get in touch or subscribe and click the bell icon below so that you can get further notifications for classes. And I'll see you again soon, hopefully. Bye!